back, GBGuns. I'm Graham here at SHOT Show 2017, and it's 11 p.m. on the 19th of January. I was about to go to sleep. Email went off. It was a press release that SIG Sauer and the P320 has been chosen as the next U.S. Army modular handgun. Of course, the Beretta 92 was not modular at all. What they mean is this is the replacement for the Beretta 92, which has been in service for about 30 years. Of those 30 or so years, I was in service for 15 years. Active duty the whole time, did Iraq, did Afghanistan, all that. I was an armorer, and I spent quite a bit of time trying to teach officers how to shoot their Beretta. That includes captains who should have been qualifying annually, but for some reason were promoted anyways, and still couldn't shoot. The Beretta 92, which I initially was not a fan of, mostly because of my experience in the Army. That was my first exposure to it. Come to realize that those guns were poorly maintained, even while I was the armorer, because our requirements and limitations meant that the recoil springs were well past their lifespan, not replaced on time, lots of other integrated Army maintenance issues. So, in reflecting on that, glad to see it go. It's still a good gun. Zenith proved me on that with their Turkish import inspired by the Beretta 92. How do I feel about the SIG P320? You may have seen we recently did our reviews on the P320. It's a nice handgun that's overpriced. Too simple where it needs to be a little more complicated, and too complicated where it needs to be a little more simple. I, for one, am greatly concerned about the U.S. Army, where I grew up and learned how to shoot and fight, adopting the SIG P320. What I foresee is a lot of negligent discharges from officers who could barely shoot their Beretta in the first place, now being given a rather short, light, and crisp P320. It did say in the press release that they will all be outfitted, prepared for suppressors, which we know just means it has a threaded barrel. I do like the modularity, the concept of being able to change chassis, keep the chassis, change the frame, change the slide, all of that. But as we all know, that's way overpriced. And something else that I noticed from my time in the Army, and now having been out of it for a little bit, is that mil-spec in military, Army, Marine, what have you, the ACOG, whatever it is that excites you because you saw it on TV or in a magazine with somebody like me but without a beard and not this hair, wearing camo, using it, doesn't mean it's the best. At all. Far from it. Military issue, military standard simply means that it was the most affordable option at the quantities needed by the government. We're not given the best equipment. Yes, war and the military drives innovation and pushes companies to make better things, and we need things that are ahead of what's on we needed things that are ahead of what the civilian has available, but that doesn't make it the best. The P320 does have a nice trigger, which I think is going to turn into a liability. Most officers, in the Army, never see any combat. Despite what you see with the Bronze Stars and all the awards that they're given, things like that, that's just something they get to help fluff their packet so they can promote and continue to promote and feel good about themselves. They're the ones that spend most time with the handguns. Those of us that live outside the wire generally don't carry handguns, aside from a few small select units which generally had other firearms at their option to begin with. So for most of the forces, especially now that we don't have major wars going on. Of the time that I was in, Afghanistan was huge, and Iraq played a role as well. That's why I ended up going to both tours. I'm not sure I think the P320 was a good choice. I'm curious to hear what you think. We've already had some feedback on our P320 review, which involves my opinions as well as Erica. as reminded often, she's a real estate agent. She carries for self-defense. Purely that. She shoots because I shoot and I drag her along, and she's nice that way. And she shoots better than I do. But point being, you've had our two opinions, the casual shooter, which is Erica, the paid to shoot for the last 17 or so years, which is me. The P320, not the ultimate gun. And with my experience in the Army, it has me thinking they took it because it was given a good deal, or they took it because maybe a certain senator from a certain state had good pull and knew that the things would be manufactured in his state, raise employment rates, make him look better, blah, 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 blah. All those things that lead to the actual government decisions rather than the quality of the firearm. So for those of you who are veterans, I would love to hear your comments. Those of you who are SIG P320 owners, I would love to hear your comments. Please let me know what you think about this. This is just my gut reaction at 11 p.m. on a Thursday night after having read the press release. I don't have all the information. I've told you everything that I do know. Any comments or whatnot you have, please leave below. Like and subscribe if this is the kind of material that you appreciate. Thank you. Thanks for watching GBGuns. And if you watch this far, you appreciate our format and what we're doing, or maybe you're waiting to make that really angry comment. Either way, click the big griffin up here to subscribe. The link over here to show you a related video based on what you just watched, or down here is the playlist relevant to this video. Once again, we appreciate your feedback, your comments. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll see you in the next video.